So yeah, this is a part 2, I guess. This can definitely be considered a weird form of a victim complex, where because you're a victim in denial, you want other people to be a victim in denial too. And like I said before in other videos, people who are always dating people who are older than them, they honestly have the same issues as people who are always dating, or not even dating, I guess I could say just befriending or talking to people who are younger than them. Like how I mentioned in one video that I noticed that younger people who could fit the autism label, not that I really like these labels, but who could fit or do have the autism label, commonly get with pedophiles who do have or could fit the autism label. And it goes two ways. You don't want to be the perpetrator, the supposed perpetrator, so you feel like you have to get with actual pedophiles so you're not the pedophile. Also, due to trauma and just being smarter, even smarter than most older people, you can't relate to people your age or around your age. And also there's still some developmental delays in age regression and stuff that also causes issues. So you get with older people who have the same issues you have, or worse, to be honest, because usually it's worse, but similar enough. And also you get with these older people with all types of issues, with street kids who are smarter than other people their age, but also still age regressed and can't get along with people their age. They're gonna go get with pedophiles who are also probably on hardcore drugs, who are also probably dudes, and they're going to get around them because, one, they're most likely not going to make fun of them, or at least not too bad, especially the dudes. The women, I mean, that still kind of depends. I would honestly say that the nicest people I've met are on meth and stuff because just a lot of reasons that they're typically nicer than the average person. And no, not because they want to manipulate me into something. There definitely are people out here who are way nicer than most people in functional society, quote unquote. But I don't know, dudes just are probably maybe gonna gossip less. So that's how people would do that. And then it's as I've already said, I noticed that a lot of people who are always in these Chomo situations are just dating or talking to people who are way older than them, more than 3 years or even well over 6. It's they really just had this complex where they couldn't see them being with someone their exact same age or a little younger than them, 1 to 3 years. So they want to project all this stuff onto you because they don't want to be the perpetrator, quote unquote. They really just have a victim complex. They're just too stuck in a victim cycle. That's really the only way to explain it. And like someone told me recently, I'm just really around too many other people who have also been trafficked and abused their whole life. So they just have a lot of issues and poor judgment. And the more I'm worried or let people make me worry about being a hypothetical pedophile, the more I'm still not being friends with people my age. And I'm just letting time waste me by pretty much as I see it. Especially the past 3 years revolving around this whole hypothetical pedophile thing. Some people say that they've never even heard of people seeing anything wrong with 1 to 3 year age gaps, older or younger. But I don't know where they've been, because honestly, this is a really big issue in America. And the thing is, most people, male or female, have been SA'd in some form or fashion. And so, there's a lot of people that are keeping the cycle going because they're, focused on not being the victimizer and instead being the victim. Even though, really, nobody has to be the victim. You could just date people your exact same age or around your age and not abuse them. But that's how they feel anyways. So they just I don't know, too many people are stuck in the victim cycle. And like I already said in the last video, when you're constantly addicted to this cycle of being with people who are too old for you and being in the love bombing phase, the disregard, the regard phase, whatever in the world it's called, the honeymoon phase, which I think that's different from love bombing. Because like I said, I haven't researched any of this stuff in like a couple years now, really since 14. But the different cycles that Dr. Rami and other people talk about. Because people with these types of sexual issues, they pretty much are, I guess you could say, I don't like the term narcissist because I mean, we live in a narcissistic society. But when you get to that level of like sexual issues, you really focus on feeding the addictions and you don't care about really yourself or other people. And everybody's just like an object. But anywho, yeah. Because Dr. Romney makes videos about narcissism. A bullcrap label, to be honest. But they just, I don't even know what to say. And it seems like something that they don't realize, especially like the women who like to throw around this term or these weird insults, is that they also have like marine spirits and just different like sexual issues, but because they're a woman and they're hot, or maybe they're hot, I don't know. I'm thinking about like specific people that actually have like thrown the pedophile accusation at me and pretty much most of the people around them for weird stuff. So because they're a woman and they look nice and they have pretty privilege, it's okay when they have different little weird sexual ways and mannerisms about themselves that could be considered predatory or just hypersexual. But it's okay to them because they're the one getting cheated on and beat up by some dude who's a sex addict, honestly just like they are. And that's something else that I've talked about a lot for years now. People who like, they have sexual issues too, but because, I don't know, theirs are different from other people's, they feel like they're not the bad guy, even though at least they're the bad guy to themselves. And I'm not like trying to push the argument about hurting people, although I don't even really like that argument about as long as I'm not hurting anybody, because people that say things like that, they're still doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and they're still hurting themselves as well. So, but it's like, I'm not saying that maybe if you're not hurting people, that people who are hurting people, maybe it's the same thing, but it's just, I don't know, it's just really interesting how people can be. Because it's like, I mean, you're a sex addict the same way the dudes you get with are a sex addict, but because you're putting yourself in victimizing situations or you're not the one cheating, it's different. And I guess you could say it kind of is, but I don't know, it's just the same thing. And I mean, you're just getting with people who are like you. So it doesn't really make sense. It's like, I mean, you're going to have to work on not being a sex addict to stop getting with sex addicts, I guess. I'm trying to think of what else I could say. Also, when it comes to like not getting along with people that are the same age as me or other people, I noticed that typically, like, there's of course generational trauma, but like parents that have, or you could say have a personality disorder. So I know me specifically, I was just bound to really have a lot of social issues. Because I mean, not even just with like relatives, but just in society, it's really common for people to really, I don't know, people, they don't like to talk about deep things or like how they feel or what they like, some of them. It's like, it's really superficial. It's a lot of face value stuff. It's like a lot of hiding things and like hiding your true core self. Because a lot of people are in the false self and they're like really possessed and split to where they really couldn't even reveal their core self. Because like there's a lot of demons and what else? I don't know. They'd probably start crying. Which actually reminds me of that Pastor Stephen Darby video, which somebody commented on one of my videos and said Pastor Stephen Darby is AI. But the video, I think it was I have the clip in the when the mother is psychotic, she treats her children video, which if I remember I'll put in the description. But Stephen was talking about how what he was really describing is what I would call a schizonarc, but I think it was solving or curing schizophrenia, but it could also be considered narcissism as well, because a stereotypical schizophrenic person is a narcissist, but that's not like what it is as a whole, of course. But I'm just saying, most people's stereotype of somebody with schizophrenia is actually a narcissist. Because I mean, all mental labels are really kind of the same thing, but with some differences at the end of the day. So, as I always say, different forms of double-mindedness are split from trauma. So he was like, people think that like being mean and rude is just being themselves, but when you touch the real person by like talking to them about different things that happen to them, they may even break down crying. So something like that. And so the point I'm getting at is that like a lot of people just seem to connect with people on like I don't know, just with like different weird sexual stuff pretty much. They just know how to date people. Something that I've honestly never done for the people who love hypothetical pedophilia. And that's why it's easier for people. No, what did I already say? I don't even know. But dating is easier than finding friends. And that's why a lot of people, especially with like these deep core like issue stuff going on, like my parents, for example, they only really ever date people, but they're never friends with anybody. And I even remember that bullcrap little counselor that I used to have. If anybody is here from the evidence channels, probably not. Maybe one person at most. Or maybe you're somebody who like you've seen some of the evidence channel videos. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what I was about to say, but I think it was gonna be something along the lines of my dad always had like these girlfriends. And then, of course, there's the hidden boyfriends. But, I mean, he was also a prostitute, so there's that. So, like, some of them weren't even really necessarily girlfriends. They were just, like, the women that people have a hard time finding that are willing to, like, pay to date people. Because I remember this dude who was a street kid, and he was forced to, like, sell himself at 7 to, like, buy food. He said it's hard to find women who will pay for sex, especially guys that young. Which I don't know. I don't know if that really has anything to do with each other, but just a lot of people say it's hard to find, but they're definitely out there. But it's all a screwed up situation. But anywho, I think, I don't know. I don't really know what I was going to say, but I could say that, like in dysfunctional family systems, especially certain ones, typically you're not going to hear, I love you, unless like it's some manipulative type stuff going on. So somebody wants some money from you, or they want something to eat, or you want something to eat. And you learn to not feel emotions to the different things. In one of the NPD videos, I talk about how like even the school system at least set me up to like try to hide being happy and not smile and not laugh, because you could get in trouble for it. Or like also in the Cash for Kids system, if you like are sad, happy, or you're just whatever, that's used to throw random mental labels at you. So that causes a lot of like numbness and emotional issues. Another thing is that your abusers know nothing about you except the lies that they make up or that the demons make up in their heads. So they don't know my favorite color or my favorite food. They can barely remember my name or age. Like parents and siblings, which I mean I can't remember their age either. And I don't remember their full names or how to spell them. And it was the same, they were the same to me. So they know nothing about me that's actually true. But in their mind, I'm running a cartel. I can't even remember most of that stuff anymore because, like, everything is a repressed memory. But I remember that one, or at least I remember some of the videos about that. What else was it? I secretly was maybe not a millionaire. I think it was like a thousandaire, if that's even a thing. What else? I'm trying to think. I can't even remember too much stuff, to be honest, that they used to say. I'm retarded. Although I'm not even gonna lie, depending on the person, a lot of people honestly, I won't say a lot, but some people honestly do like really see me that way. But I feel like it just depends on a lot of stuff. Because people are pretty stereotypical, and like if you think things that they don't think or like, I mean, that's pretty much what people call being bad, crazy, or retarded, but that really depends on the person, I guess. I really can't remember Jack. Oh, yeah, that whole situation where they got mad because I was sleeping on the couch. And I was going through sleep deprivation abuse, so they didn't want me to go to sleep anyway, so they got mad because I was sleeping on the couch. And my older neighbor sister who we were living with was supposed to be like watching somebody's dog, which she definitely wasn't doing. And so due to that, my mom and her boyfriend were like, since you won't stop sleeping on the couch, we're just gonna start telling people that you're dating the dog. And there was that. But I'm trying to think of something else though that more so fits like the topic of just different stories that make up about me in their head. But I really can't remember much though. Yeah, honestly, I can't remember anything. But hopefully that was enough examples. I don't know. But I guess going back to like my parents, quote unquote. So I already mentioned my dad's multiple girlfriends that it would seem like maybe they don't really know anything about each other, but they also don't know anything about themselves personally. So like they're just pretty much living in a false self, and it's really dissociation. Like they're just like zooming through life, mostly taken over by the dark side. And then my mom, she had her different boyfriends, like I guess at least when they would break up, but it's like honestly, the amount of time that people like this can get with somebody else after a breakup and after like having somebody put a gun to their head and I don't know, chain them to a kitchen table or something like that, they definitely have people on the back burner that are like side pieces. And that's why everything is so superficial, because definitely they have to be like, okay, so when this happens to this person, or this person leaves, or he tries to kill me, or I try to kill him, I'm just gonna like put this person right here that I have to the side. No, hold on. I'm gonna pull out this person that I have to the side, and if something happens with these three people I have to the side, then I'm just gonna go the color purple, and so I'm just gonna pull her out and stuff like that. It has to be something like that, because there's no way. Man, it shows the fear of commitment, which I honestly could get, because I mean, it's really scary, but I think I more so get it because of like generational curses, to be honest. But it just shows that people aren't even really like committed, especially people like this, because like if you really like this person, or really liked yourself, honestly, well, if they liked themselves, they wouldn't, a lot of things wouldn't be happening, and they wouldn't be a lot of ways that they are, which really aren't themselves, and they're more so demonic personas taking over. But if they like this person, they wouldn't even have like all these side piece people and these placeholders. And but then also like I noticed that people who are always getting with these older people are straight up chomos. They're commonly like the older person. They have like limerence issues, and they also have a fear of commitment themselves, or just like due to the sex addiction, they have so many other kids put to the side. So it's like, typically the person dating the older person isn't even the main person that the older person is dating, or quote unquote dating. It's a whole bunch of other people that they have to the side, and they're like really the side piece and the back burner, to be honest. And like I said, I'm not trying to victim blame, but if you do have these types of issues, but you're telling yourself it's not a problem because you're not the victimizer, or because you're older now, or you're mature, you're grown. If you have to run around saying I'm grown, or I'm a grown A woman, or I'm a grown A man, then you need to stop a lot of stuff. Just stop everything you're doing and put it on pause, because that's the complex, and I like to call it the I'm grown complex, which is really problematic, because it's the same complex that a lot of these people 40 plus have, where they're like, well, now that I'm older, I don't have to be the person getting beat on and beat with switches and S8 anymore. So now I can be the one to do it to younger people. But anywho, however you got into the lifestyle that you're living right now, whether from like SA or just straight up neglect, or you were dragged into it by somebody else who unfortunately fell into it, and now you're addicted to it, and you're addicted to like the self-esteem boost that you feel like you're getting when people or older people tell you that you look nice, or that they love you even though you know that they don't, and that you don't even really love them. Or you're like doing it for like for somebody to try to take care of you, even though a lot of times these Chomo people, due to different things with their situation, and commonly if they're dudes, they're Jezebelic moms who infantilize them, they really couldn't even take care of themselves. So, but yeah, anywho, you fall into it however, you're addicted to it now. You cannot be like projecting what you chase on other people. You can't be projecting being a perpetrator on other people, because they're not like deep into a victim complex to where they aren't doing what you're doing. Then while unfortunately this is abuse, although like maybe depending on your age, people don't consider it abuse anymore, they'll just say you're just making stupid decisions. And you may not see it that way, but there is a reason that even you yourself can't get with people who are the exact same age as you or close to your age. And like a lot of times people will be like, well, I feel like I'm more mature than people who are the same age as me. But like honestly, they're commonly lying though, because these same people who say this will also commonly split, and they'll admit, I still feel like I'm a teenager and I'm still trying to live my teenage years, or I still feel like I'm younger than I am, different things like that. And yeah, so anywho, or typically maybe people their age don't want to be with somebody that people already know and spread rumors about how they're always with older people. But either way, like if you have to have a complex where you call everybody around you a pedophile, then you really should probably just leave all the sexual stuff alone, because obviously it's affecting you and it has affected you, and you're just too worried about constantly trying to date people so you're not alone, instead of like really trying to fix some stuff. And I mean, it's not easy. And I think like I don't know, what was I gonna say? Like, this is a big part of why I really rather just be completely alone, like literally completely alone, and stay in the woods, or not stay in the woods, but just like not talk to people. Because typically, I mean, it's my fault for even like allowing these people around me, obviously, which is something I always say. But these are also often the people that tell me that I'm supposedly too alone and that it's not a good thing. But these are the type of people that are the reason that I don't talk to people. But still, I mean, it's gonna be my fault regardless. But somebody was telling me that I don't have to like only attract or be around these types of people. I just need to actually put myself in a better environment with people who don't have similar experiences. But it's really hard to relate to people who don't have similar experiences, but I guess also it's a lot of people that have similar experiences, but they're still having similar experiences and they're not like trying to fix the situation or just minimize the abuse and stay off Grindr or whatever. Or maybe, I don't know, Facebook. Which I've only ever met one person that finds Chomos on Facebook. But it's still like, I wouldn't even, honestly, after watching my dad and what I'm just going to call the dark prophetic reprobate clairvoyance abuse victim seeking, I wouldn't trust anybody I meet on Facebook. And the thing is, I actually wanted to make a video about how men do seductress witchcraft too, and how they're sex wizards too, as people like to say. Or no, that's not even what people really say. Because like I know one time some lady said that she felt like God was calling her to be a sex goddess, and that's definitely, I mean, that's it. Maybe, I don't know, Bill is, but a lot of dudes are that too. That's the point I'm getting at. Like, literally, my dad meets all his girlfriends on Facebook, but it seems like they're also usually people that he's met before, or at least in childhood, or supposedly met before. But it reminds me of the time he was bragging to me about how a lady at the mall called him and admitted that she thought that he was hot, and so she took his number off the receipt. And that time where he met this 20-something-year-old on Facebook, and she left her 8 kids with her abusive boyfriend states away to come stay with my dad and his mom for a little while for quote-unquote dates. And then I got in trouble for admitting to her that my dad was actually almost 50 and he wasn't 30-something, which would still be too old for her. And in fact, this goes back to that thing I was saying with the 20-year-olds, especially the lady who likes to throw around the pedophile label. This goes back to exactly what I was saying. Are these dudes really even 36 and 38, or are they older than that? But anywho, and that's another thing. Another dude who's in his 20s doesn't want to get with you because he knows you're going to have a whole bunch of issues, unfortunately. And so the only people left to get with you with your 8 kids, not trying to be rude, because half those kids probably came from SA. But it's going to be some dude who's way too old for you. Maybe even some lady who's way too old for you if you fall into that. Who's predatory, is probably getting with you to get with your kids. Why would you leave your kids with some dude who's trying to kill you? And it's definitely pedophilic. And the thing is, if somebody will abuse you, they'll abuse the kids too, and I'm sure you know that they already are, but you don't care. But anywho, my dad and grandma, especially my grandma, cursed me out and threatened me, and all types of stuff happened because I had to let the lady know that my dad was way older than he was telling her. And also, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, my grandma talked my dad's head up, of course, as he's Jezebelic, covert narc, and fetalizing women do. And she was trying to make the lady seem bad for going through my dad's phone. And maybe she was trying to figure out how old he was. But this goes into something else that I meant to say a while ago, which may be kind of irrelevant, but I've learned that when you fix one issue, or you start fixing one issue, other issues come up. I remember when I was younger, still elementary age mostly, and I was always sexually acting out and I got really possessed due to sex addiction. I felt like that was the issue, and once I fixed this issue and I stopped harassing people, then it'll be okay and then I'll be able to make friends. But honestly, that was bullcrap. And I'm starting to really think more about how, honestly, I don't even really think that was the main issue. I think that if even with putting the sexual issues to the side and the possession at that point in time to the side, just due to certain ways about me that aren't even bad things. There's just certain things about me that will make some people uncomfortable or intimidated or scared. And I don't have to do or say anything weird, or well, I won't even say weird, messed up for that to happen. Like honestly, I kind of feel like if I had the sexual issues, but maybe had pretty privilege and also had like better social skills and didn't make everything awkward and I guess like scary for some people, then the sexual issues wouldn't have even mattered. But yeah, like I guess, I don't know. I mean, something I may have mentioned before is that people are typically either terrified of me or they tell me that I'm really cute and really funny and they take me as a complete joke and feel like they can run all over me. Like that one 20-something-year-old lady who pretty much ran off with some dude that nobody liked or approved of that didn't even like her, who was 30-something, well, late 30s, mid to late 30s, that actually got with her in an agreement of a one-night stand, but I guess she got too attached and couldn't accept that because she was already desperate and lonely, and is the I just want to be loved type, which actually was said in a lot of situations, but I'm not going to go into that. Anyways, she did a resume for this dude for him to get another job, and then once he got the job, because it was more than 20 minutes away, he tried to use that as an excuse to break up because he never wanted to be with her anyways. Really what it was is that he knows that she's the type that usually dudes like him wouldn't even be able to get with if it wasn't for the desperation and trauma and different stuff like that. Because one, her age, and two, she's just pretty and like people would consider her to be out of his league. And so, yeah, that happened, but eventually he just gave in because he got tired of like her calling him from different numbers, BPD type stuff. And yeah, but I mean, the thing is, whenever you have sex with somebody, you marry them in the spirit realm, so it's a soul tie and all that, but women typically get more attached easier. But that's why you shouldn't be sleeping around anyways. But I'm not even going to go into that, because I talk about that all the time. And people are going to do whatever they want to do and then play victim and wonder why things just get worse and worse. And to be truthfully honest, they're both in a whole bunch of weird sexual stuff due to different things. And like I said, when I was in Cali, most people didn't believe I was older than 11, 14 max. And this person is included. So, like, really you should never be telling people your age, but, I mean, I knew she was going to be a let me help you lunatic, but I also knew she was going to be jealous of me. And actually, since I forgot the point I was supposed to be getting at, I guess I could throw that in here, because I was thinking about this earlier. One, she was jealous of me because I'm a virgin. She also has a lot of, like, guilt that she would try to, like, act like she didn't have, but very obviously did have, from, like, an abortion and just, like, different things she was doing, from, like, situations she kept putting herself in with especially older dudes that she really just needed to stop. But as I always say, most people cannot handle being alone. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I'm splitting, I think more about it, but then it's like, when I come back to my senses or when my blood sugar isn't low, I remember, honestly, I'd really rather be by myself. It's like, talking to people has always been too confusing for me. I don't like having to go back and forth in my head about whether somebody really likes me and whether I'm a pedophile or not. And there's something else that I can't remember. Oh yeah, whether I'm the bad guy or not. And something that I always say and have said since 16 is that I did not leave my abuse situation to go be abused by other random people or to join somebody else's cult. But anyway, she was jealous of me because I'm a virgin, of course, a lot of other things too. One thing that really gets to people is my ability to literally be alone for long periods of time. And I'm not even saying that isolation is a good thing, but a lot of people really don't get how I'm able to like literally just not talk to anybody at all for months at a time. And I'm not saying that I always like it, although I would say half the time I definitely do, maybe sometimes more than half the time. And it's definitely better compared to like this. And earlier I was having some memories of this one bullcrap little song I wrote years ago. revolving around the abuse from my old abusive friend, or supposed friend Addie. And how, I'm not really sure. Actually, no, she was doing the whole Chomo thing on Snapchat sometimes with, like, different random people that would message her for whatever reason. But she also, like, was addicted to, like, some very horrible dark web videos, so I don't know, But mostly, she was addicted to, like, having a lot of different boyfriends that she would, like, abuse and stuff. Pretty much, whoever was desperate enough for her to be able to abuse or use. Anywho, she would always project onto me that, like, I was a hoe even though I didn't even date people or anything. And this lady actually had that same issue, although she wouldn't admit that she was what she was. She would more so try to, like, project stuff that she felt like her mom was onto me. But it was a lot of stuff with her. But this is why I knew since, like, the beginning, way before I even talked to her, since I first seen her, that I needed to avoid her. But what did I do? I felt bad because she was always sitting around crying. And so, sitting around crying, talking about how she was going to drive off a cliff. And so, no, that's not even why I originally got dragged in. I originally got dragged in because some dude made up this story in his head that, like, she got essayed and almost beat to death under a bridge, but it wasn't even true. Not gonna go into that, but some dude was telling people that. So then another guy had came to me and was like, I'm her street dad and I'm trying to figure out what in the world happened. And I seen you talking to her, because a lot of people had this idea that, like, either me and her were dating, or I was her son, or I was her daughter, or her cousin. And I remember this one time where she was like, because she's mixed, she was like, if you were my kid, you wouldn't even be that dark, because her mom is white. And honestly, I mean, she's not wrong. I probably wouldn't be. But that's the ideas that people were making up in their head, weird stuff. So that happened. Then I felt worried about her, and then I slowly got dragged in over time. And honestly, if I haven't learned anything, especially since running away, people who really want to save themselves are going to try to save themselves. And now, I know that people, like, throw this on the really all homeless people of any age. I'm not even just talking about homeless people. But it kind of reminds me that you kind of got to be careful of who you, I don't know, just be careful of certain people. Because some people are in certain situations because they won't stop chasing love and boyfriends and girlfriends and different things like that. And in a video where I react, or I guess I could say react to a post where somebody was like, does anybody else feel hardened after being homeless? And they were saying after being homeless, they don't really care much about other people's issues and different things they say they have going on. But for me, it's not like that. Really, after running away, I realized even more that people who really want to save themselves, they're going to save themselves, especially if it's a situation where they're not, like, chained to a table. And I'm not going to lie, I understand why a lot of people are scared to do that. One, the legalities, that's the biggest reason. Getting locked up, charged, and sent back. And as long as you're homeless, police are always going to be one of your main issues. Police and these security companies that are popping up everywhere, that are definitely part of the B system, like Abbott, Allied, Garda World, etc., etc. Then some know that even when they turn 18, or if they already are 18, they're not going to be able to afford anything, so they know they're just going to be stuck homeless unless they have somewhere to go. But I mean, if the situation is worth leaving, then that doesn't matter. But definitely the trauma of being talked down on, beat up, spit on by cops and other people for being a quote-unquote bum, it definitely doesn't, like, make anything better. It just makes you more traumatized to where eventually you can split into, like, schizo or whatever if you don't get out the situation. But I wouldn't advise being homeless in the city anyways. But yeah, having people that I put well over $300 to the side for, that said that they wanted to, like, escape their abuse, get scared and chicken out, and then come back a year later and say, I'm still being trafficked by CPS. And they come back a year later and say, okay, things have gotten worse. Now they're trying to charge me with murder for something that they originally said that they didn't care about. Because the situation where the foster parents were supposed to be watching the baby, but the baby drowned in the pool. Or having people say I want to leave, but then chicken out and say, okay, never mind, guys, but then be like, okay, things have gotten worse. I do want to leave, but I'm scared to like meet anybody halfway. I'm scared to just leave on my own. Which anybody who feels like they need a partner or somebody to leave with them and to help them escape their abuse or to hold their hand while leaving their abuse, they're probably never going to get out no matter how old they are. Now, I'm not even going to lie. People from healthy families are honestly typically very terrible people. But I can't understand why some of them like try so hard to avoid traumatized people, which I mean I feel like it's very hard because like pretty much everybody is, and like a lot of people are very traumatized, but I can kind of understand why they avoid people with like certain issues and who have been through certain things, because a lot of people do constantly put themselves in bad situations because they're addicted to it. They feel like there's no other way, but I mean, even people from healthy families are addicted to the bullcrap cycles of sin, the matrix, I don't know, following the crowd, whatever. Although I can still say that most of the avoidance is because they don't want to like face the real issues of the world and real things that actually happen every day. But it kind of makes me think of like how someone said that people should just let those with avoidant attachment style and fearful attachment style date each other instead of like dating people who don't have attachment issues. But I mean, I still feel like if you're even going for these people, you probably have trauma and you're attracted to people who are emotionally unavailable, which that's a big issue with me. But like I said, I don't even date people. But the mommy issue thing's definitely an issue. But there's so much stuff I was supposed to say that I've forgotten because I went off on other rants. But overall, definitely running for people that are like my parents, both of them. People who are stuck in these weird sex cycles, I guess I could call it. Now, I can throw this in, because I keep forgetting this. I mentioned this before. So, I feel like for me, I don't even really necessarily get along with older people. I just feel like, at least with certain ones, they make me less nervous and uncomfortable. Well, they make me less nervous, I guess I could say. Maybe not the uncomfortable thing, because it's like, it seems like a lot of them, especially 40 plus, are either like pedophiles or they're abusive in some other form or fashion. And like most black women have like the Jezebel spirit, but not even like a lower ranking one. Like they have it really, really bad. So yeah, there's that. So I don't even really go around them. And I think that's another reason why like some people end up in different pedophilic situations. But it really depends on your environment. But that's like a whole nother video. So yeah, I just feel like I do more masking and chameleon effect around older people. Because I know that like it's a possibility that if they feel like I'm weird or I make them uncomfortable, that they're more likely to like have an even worse reaction to people who are like younger, around my age. So yeah. But it's interesting because I feel like I age regress around people who are in their 20s. But my guard is up when I'm around people who are like 40 or older. But then people around my age just make me like really nervous. And I think another part of it is that, I mean, unless I'm around like street kids, which typically, like there's a lot on the West Coast, and they have like so many hardcore drug issues and stuff, and just like different little weird philosophies that they believe to where I don't even talk to them, not gonna lie. But like those who aren't street kids, I'm not really around much, because like I always said, I mean, people who have parents and family, they're not gonna, a lot of them aren't gonna like let their kid, even if they're like 25 or I don't know, 27, they're not gonna let them be around some like random street kid who like is probably traumatized, maybe has like been essayed and may essay their kid, or I don't know, they don't know where their parents are, so that means that they're bad or grown, or they're just doing something that they shouldn't be, they're not where they're supposed to be, different things like that. But it's like if I am in an environment where like I see even people way younger, I kind of like just go into this weird like starey flashback mode where I realize how much of my life has and is passing me by, and like there's people that are like in more, I don't know, normal, I guess I could say, situations where they're just like living their life and they're not like, I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm in like survival mode. I definitely wouldn't consider this like trying to survive compared to my previous situation, but just in like more normal situations where they're like, I don't know, just able to do normal stuff and, I don't know, play games. I don't even think that's like a good way to explain it, or if it really makes sense, but I just go into like a weird flashbacky mode and I just can't relate to them. Like I remember even way before I ran away, I noticed that even people way younger than me, they just had a lot of qualities about themselves that just seemed, I guess, more mature and like, I don't know, they just had a lot of ways about themselves that I just didn't know how to have. Like even ones that were severely traumatized could still fit in better, but I feel like the anointed and prophetic thing and just certain things could also, well not could also, they do play a role in it. But another thing that's kind of irrelevant, people are always saying that like Jezebels are always after the prophetic person, but most Jezebelic people, most people with the Jezebel spirit, or even like high-ranking Jezebel spirits like full-blown narcissists, are prophetic and anointed themselves. I have to keep reminding people of that. But, oh yeah, and one of the reasons that like most black women have the Jezebel spirit bad, the dudes have it too, but the reason that a lot of the women have it bad is because of SA. I mean, of course, a lot of other trauma, but especially SA. I mean, like when you look at people like Tania from Soft White Underbelly, or Nova's mom, and it's like, so many people are like that. And like I said before, I mean, when you look at like at least I could say white supremacy, maybe not like quote unquote white people in general, but white supremacy is the same spirits, the Jezebel spirit, the same ones in like being a schizo narc, as I like to call it. And it's all really the same, to be honest. And of course, like, we live in a Jezebelic society. A lot of the women are pretty Jezebelic, but the dudes are too. The fact that I even have had to like try to do chameleon effect and all that stuff throughout my life, which I kind of stopped years ago mostly because it just takes too much effort and it's too much energy. So what's the point in even trying? But since I mostly stopped talking to people years ago, I've realized that I don't even like most people I meet anyways. Then people will say that like I'm too picky or that I think I'm better than other people, but honestly, man, that's so irrelevant. I don't know. I get mad too easily for a lot of the little weird games and I don't really care for it. And I mean, I'm not good at talking to people. Most people, like, depending on like, I don't know, especially if my blood sugar is low, people don't know what in the world I'm talking about. Like, and it's really hard for me to like really explain how I feel or what I'm saying, and it's kind of like, I don't know, crisis mode rants, and people don't care for it, and honestly I don't really care for a lot of their games either, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Two things I forgot to mention. So one, I noticed that certain people in these types of situations, they feel like, I don't know, they're used to abuse or they can handle the abuse and they don't mind being the person dating the older person, but they have this like complex where other people's abuse makes them feel some type of way. So like if they see, I don't know, like well, I probably shouldn't even put the picture in if I could find it, but it was like some little bullcrap little missionary helping third world countries type dude, and he was a Chomo, and he liked the different little, I don't know, 7-year-old boys, but he kind of looked like that Disney animation thing where they were talking about the pedophile island with the Pied Piper, which of course is rooted in pan worship, which is about pedophilia, and also the baby boy complex that I talked about in another video when it comes to like the rappers going by Little and Baby. But anywho, he looked like the smiling dude, if this is even like a good explanation of what I'm talking about. So the dude who was smiling when he was saying that the boys that they take to Pleasure Island to SA never come back as boys from Disney, that dude. So like they'll see something like that and they'll be like, well, this makes me feel some type of way, and I don't like other people being SA'd, but I don't mind it happening to myself. And I think maybe that's another reason that like they have this like hypothetical pedophilia complex thing going. And two, if you already have guilt and shame from having different sexual issues throughout your life, then it's harder to even take accusations like this because it just makes you more confused about who you are and what you're doing wrong. And also another thing I forgot to mention is that unfortunately, I'm always around people with really bad judgment, so it's really not good to trust too much of anybody, especially like different things that they think or say, because a lot of reasons.